Hey, Marcus Washington here at Cap 1. Marquette 76, Georgetown 61. There was a lot of the feeling of this game was to last year. It was a lot of that sort of feeling, but the circumstances are different. Last year was obviously a talent gap issue. I think this year is more of a, they're just beat up and they're beat up in key spots. And I know you can say several teams around the country are beat up, but for a team that was where they are in the process of building and rebuilding a program, the injuries they have to those people that they need is adversely affecting them. Marquette is really not a whole hell of a lot to say. Marquette shot 55% in the first half, 57% in the second half, 56% from the game, 33% from three. And when you're giving up layups and threes, which is what Georgetown gave a lot up to, was layups and threes, whereas Georgetown, you heard me say earlier in a pregame, got to make at least 14 threes, right, to keep this thing competitive. Georgetown was 7 for 24 from three. They shot 19% in the first half, 5 for 26 from the floor. Got better in the second half, 48%, 4 for 9 for three. But by then, the game had been decided, even though Georgetown did get it within 12. Georgetown pushed back, had been down by 28, got it to 12, and then went contested three, forced to the basket. And then Marquette came and they just put the game away right then and there. And a couple things I asked Ed tonight about was, keeping the locker room together, keeping these guys playing. And he said, it's taking advantage of your opportunity. These guys know they're going to have opportunities to play. It's going to be what you do with that, right? And I understand that. It's just hard not to lose a locker room in this era, especially when you talk about transfer portals and everything else. Everybody got 4,000 people in their ear telling them, they're the best, or if you transfer here, you'd be better off, and those type of things. So I find it, for the coach of today, it is just more challenging that when you're having a year like this, that there were sections where things just look really, really good, like turn the corner good, and now things have kind of fallen back due to things, that's just out of your control. You're hurt. And speaking of being hurt, I had said in my pregame about Drew Fielder. Coach addressed it at the postgame press conference. He said that it was the back, which is what I thought. And he said that if he had to do it all over again, he wouldn't have played Fielder at all. Fielder was very limited. Obviously, you saw that Drew didn't play in the second half. My eyes were not deceiving me. It did look, Cooley said that he had tweaked it in the walkthrough this morning, which just stinks, because he was perfectly fine. I saw practice on Thursday, and he was perfectly fine, and it got away from them. Other numbers, I don't know how much these numbers really mean anything when it comes to Marquette. Georgetown did have 25 free throw attempts, making 16. Marquette was 4 for 7. Marquette, that's just not surprising for a Marquette game. It's why some in the media room feels like Marquette's a prime candidate to be out the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. But that's something else for a different time. 18 assists, 13 turnovers for Marquette, 12 assists, 13 turnovers for Georgetown. The backcourt, I said, the backcourt was very important. Unfortunately for Georgetown, 5 for 27 between Mack and Epps, including 2 for 13 from three. That's not going to pay the bills. Obviously, Curtis Williams did come off the bench and have a nice game. He had 14 points in 17 minutes, including being 2 for 3 from three. So those are some of the numbers. But to be honest with you, I will say this, and this comes from my high school coaching background, which obviously is not college coaching, but there is a similarity in this. The film will show the players who quit. The film will show the players who feel like oh, well, I haven't been playing all year. Now he has to play me. I'm going to do what I want to do. All those things are going to show up on film. So, again, we talked about the portal era. Keep that in mind if certain people are in the portal, because it doesn't turn into a free-for-all. And if Ed really, really, really wants to solidify a program culture, those guys early on need to be weeded out so the guys behind them know you're not going to go to Georgetown, and as soon as things go bad, you're going to sit around and do what you want to do and shoot the ball every time you get it and loaf and pout and those things. So this is a very important time. The second thing I will remind kids is every college coach is going to see that film. And when you do that, even though you might be destined for the portal, when you do that, you force other college coaches to ask, do I want to bring that in my program? So keep that in mind. Again, from Cap 1, Marquette 76, Georgetown 61. This is Marcus Washington, MTC Media.